All right, here's the final assembly installation of the full flow oil pump. So things to watch out for: make sure your studs are long enough to go through your full flow pump case. My studs weren't. They ended about right there. I couldn't get a nut on them. I debated on whether to get studs or not. I would have liked studs, but they were hard to come by and I couldn't find them. So I just went with some stainless bolts. And I measured the stud, got them a little bit longer. Anyways, the only thing to keep in mind is tap this in. When you put your two gears in, make sure you rotate it, and there's a little slot. You'll feel it click into the camshaft. Put a little grease on the two wheels in there. You have 2 marks on each wheel. Just make sure they're facing you. Put Permatex gasket. Let's see here. Put this stuff, high-tech gasket sealant on both sides of the gasket. I put a little bit on the block, both sides of the gasket. I put some on the pump. And then since I'm using bolts, I put the gasket on the pump side and then tapped the pump in with a mallet. You don't want to use a hammer because you'll hammer something. Here's a mallet, boom. And then put your next seal on. Once again, gasket sealant on both sides. I put a little bit on the cover there. I also went through and cleaned everything because, like I said, I got it all together and my studs weren't long enough to put nuts on them. So we went with bolts. But the reason I bring that up is you can use carb cleaner to clean this stuff off. I ran out of carb cleaner, so I used lacquer thinner on a paper towel. I started using these because they're cheaper and they don't shed like the blue ones. The blue shop towels shed and you get little fuzzies everywhere. These seem to hold together better. Anyway, so that's the end result. These are stainless. They should work pretty good in the aluminum in case we've got to pull this in and out a few times. That's my only concern with using bolts. And then the other thing is when you do a full flow pump, you tap the outlet on the pump. And the only concern with that is if you ever have to pull the pump out, then you can't put the little puller in because the puller goes in these 2 holes here and then it has a T-bracket and you bolt it down and it slides it out. So take that in consideration. I was going to tap this on the inside, but I didn't want to tap my case. So I just tapped the pump. And what I'll do is I have to pull this out again, I'll just get a hook and a slide hammer and gently work this out. Anyways, I hope that helps someone. My case is already full flowed. I just got to open that, put a fitting on there, and then we'll put some hoses onto oil filter and then go from there. I'm not sure where I'm going to mount my oil filter and all my hoses. That'll be another adventure for another day. But there's the end result. And I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. Only advice is just try to plan ahead before you get glue down. I did check and I thought it was going to be long enough. But once I got this cover on, this cover's pretty thick. You can see it's a big one. Plus I have a HD 30mm pump. So those 2 factors just didn't leave me enough stud room. Anyways, have a good one. Thanks. Bye.